Grand Rising. This is the Straight Talk Morning Show on the Straight Talk Network. My name is Andre Hill, your host, and we have our co-host, the chairman, Terrence Slade, up in Detroit, Michigan, where there's snow on the ground. How you doing this morning, Chairman?
Well, Grand Rising, everyone. I'm doing fine. Like you say, it's snow on the ground. A couple of days ago, I tried to get my grandson and a couple of his friends to come over in this big lot in front of the house. We are going to build this giant snowman, but the snow wouldn't cooperate. You got different types of snow, some good packing and some just fluffy. And it's fluffy now, but you never know. It's constantly coming.
Well, as I broadcasted earlier, Chairman, it's 79 degrees here in the Tampa Bay area.
Well, I see you rubbing the sweat off your face.
We can ship you about 4 or 5 degrees and try to warm that place up there. So also we have our co-host engineer, our Aboriginal Juris Doctor of the United Aboriginal American Republic tribe. How you doing this morning, man?
Good. Peace and love, family.
All right. So once again, our topics are always interesting. Also, we are focusing on empowering the melanated people of this planet, because right now the burden of proof is in their hands. And we're going to play some videos to help guide you in that direction, to fortify and underpin your spiritual self-esteem, to understand that we're going to have to make the change. We're going to have to shift the paradigm on this planet. So without further ado, I'm going to go right into the topics as I post every Friday, but this time I posted late Friday night. I was out meeting with different potential tribal members, and so I ran a little late. But anyway, good evening, family. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Straight Talk Network at our YouTube account. Just go to my Facebook page and press that link and watch us on YouTube, or as we're projecting on my Facebook page, Andre Hill Sr. Why melanated people don't have to fear low-frequency ETs or their demon seeds anymore. There is a formula they must practice. We're going to talk about what that formula is. Also, there is, we didn't finish the topic on the science behind one culture robbing, murdering, and deceiving another culture's land and freedom. So we're going to continue to expand on that. We got a video. It's kind of like a jokester video, but it gives you a narrative what happened. And we're going to go into explaining, the Caucasians' mindset as to why they, feel entitled to just take over people's land. All right. And then also go to lucifersrevenge.net. Make sure you order a copy of this book. This book is going to help prepare you. It's going to underpin, as I said, your spiritual self-esteem. Because right now in this country and all over the world, because of the religious constructs, what were designed to enslave you psychologically and mentally, now a lot of people are finding out that those religious constructs are not working. So we need to elevate to a higher frequency so that we can tap into the true source of the universe and make a change on our planet. All right, so going into the topic of why melanated people don't have to fear low-frequency ETs or their demon seeds anymore. And there is a formula to practice. So we're going to play a video that, explains what's going on in not only the solar system, but in this quadrant of the universe. And then we can lead into why, the aboriginals, the original humans, are now required to step up and reclaim the planet. And you don't do it with buying bullets. It's all spiritual. and we're going to work on that. But first, let's give you a little insight on what's going on and why all these UFO reports are starting to show up.
But the thing is we're not actively participating, and that becomes the problem. I mean, they have a large fleet. They have a planetary defense fleet. It's very large. And while they're asked to not intervene, they are there in case something goes wrong, right? Then they will intervene, but it's always concise. And I think that what they're saying is that we're here, we're protecting your back, but you just need to learn to communicate with us so that we can do it actively. And so, like I say, on the other side of the moon, we know they're there because they've told us that. There apparently is a very large cruiser that's on the other side of the moon that can take on quite a bit. So, that makes me feel good.
We have to get together and have some sort of defense system. What's the United Galactic Federation going to do to help create that?
Well, what's interesting is they're already here.
Right.
They usually park outside on the other side of the moon.
Yes.
So they are watching our back. But the thing is we're not actively participating, and that becomes the problem. I mean, they have a large fleet. They have a planetary defense fleet. It's very large. And while they're asked to not intervene, they are there in case something goes wrong, right? Then they will intervene, but it's always concise. And I think that what they're saying is that we're here, we're protecting your back, but you just need to learn to communicate with us so that we can do it actively. And so, like I say, on the other side of the moon, we know they're there because they've told us that. There apparently is a very large cruiser that's on the other side of the moon that can take on quite a bit. So, that makes me feel good.
Okay. All right. So we need to learn to communicate. So right now, here in the Americas, where we've been invaded by the United States of corporate America, they have taken over the military-industrial war complex, and they have profitized it. It is built into a capitalistic design to control and manipulate. So we talked about this on many shows, and so that entity, they're not communicating with the most advanced ETs. They're communicating with the low frequency ETs that needs our resources, need our bodies, well, mostly the Caucasian bodies, and they are, they're just in, they're low frequency. So they are taking advantage of the Galactic Council's theory that every species in the system must be tested to prove that they're worthy of elevating to a higher frequency. And so we've explained the dynamics to that, but I'm glad to see that this woman is dealing specifically with the fact that they exist. And, a lot of them are hiding behind the moon because we have telescopes and a lot of the local people, and they have a policy not to intervene, but they are starting to urge us on to wake up out of this sleep that was put us on by these religious constructs that created an illusion of a false God. And also with that illusion, it instructed you to pray to this false God. Therefore, you're giving energy to a lie. And when you give energy to a lie, it will continue to enslave you. So if you take that energy away and redirect it to the God or the supreme being within you as an individual, and then you connect with other individuals, then you will start to have better control of your destiny. And your enslavement here on this planet will start to dissipate. Hey, Chairman, you got any ideas on that?
Oh, I love that image, showing people, the technology and the advancedness. And even in my book, I talk about how we were living on other planets and other solar systems, and we got advanced and we came in contact with each other. But our biggest problem was that we tried to have religious differences, not that we try to, but our religious differences is what caused us to start fighting each other. And instead of destroying humanity, we decided to take a tribe from each planet and put them on Earth. And that's where we're at. We're here on Earth right now trying to get it together. So it's not strange to know that, that there's a civilization on the dark, not the dark side, but the other side of the moon, because there's no such thing as the dark side of the moon. We're tidally locked to the moon, at least the moon is to us, and that therefore we see just the one side of the moon. But as the moon travel around us and we see the quarter, the half, the crescent, and all that, on that dark side, it's no longer dark. It's light because the sun is shining on it. But yeah, it's coming together. We are coming together by just having shows like this and other disclosure, commentaries of letting us know that there's more to it than us. Like I said before, we were put here to learn how to come together, and we are, but it's a slow process. And people are freaking out right now with Trump and his escapades, but that's just a temporary situation. People are seeing through that. All the nations on the planet are seeing through that. So we just got to go through this little short episode. And once they deal with him in a righteous, lawful way, we won't have that problem anymore because everyone knows what he's up to. Power, money, that's all he wants. I'll land that plane.
Yeah, man. He shut down all those agencies that are going to divert that money to his pockets.
Right.
So that's why I'm telling our people, we don't need to participate. This woman said that we're not participating, but we don't need to participate with this madness anymore. We have our own nation, the United Aboriginal American Republic. We are developing our own citizenship. You can keep your American starman citizenship, but we're moving in that direction. Hey, son, what's your take? You believe that there are extraterrestrials, not only in the physical form, but in light form. Spread some light on that.
But before I get to that, we got some interesting comments on the page. Queen Mother Brenda Allen, peace and love, sister, peace and love. She asked a good question about your comments on communicating with the advanced ET. She asked, "Do we communicate with them telepathically?"
So there is a movie that's out, and it's low key. It's called Blacks and UFOs. And so, in order for you to communicate with them, of course, when you make contact, you're going to communicate with them telepathically because they have advanced mental capabilities to tap into our thoughts. But the issue here is when we prepare ourselves as a collective to make contact with those ETs, and there is a protocol, and at UAAR, we understand the protocol. How do we need to protect ourselves? But if you want to watch that movie, Blacks and UFOs in the UK, it will demonstrate to you that all of these young melanated people that lived in the UK, they were not on the same page. Some of them were fearful, some of them was doubtful, some of them didn't know what to say and what to think. So there's a protocol to prepare yourself to communicate with the most advanced ETs who will not give any technology to these low frequency humans that are running the Pentagon, the White House, Congress, Supreme Court. They're not going to share that advanced technology with them. They're going to share it with us, the true humans that have not compromised their souls. So there's a protocol in how we prepare for this. Everybody's not ready for that. But those of you that are ready for it, you get in touch with us. My son is going to give you the email. You can go to our website, drop a line, and we're going to reach out to you and start preparing you to understand how we're going to make contact with the most advanced beings to help run these low frequency entities off the planet. They know the time is up. They know it's time to leave, but you got to have a unified collective state of mind. And it can't be about, well, what's in it for me? How much money can I get? You can't operate on that level. That's the Caucasian capitalistic imperialism system, of greed, stabbing in the back. So we're going through a purification process, the proper protocol. We don't need the United States government's permission. We can go out in the field as a collective and call them down, and they will demonstrate for us. But you watch this movie, Blacks and UFOs, and I don't know where you're going to find it. It's on different networks. You may have to look it up on the Google, the internet, to find that movie. But it would demonstrate there were certain melanated people in the group that was in tune with these beings. This is a true story. And there were certain ones that were doubtful, and there were certain ones that had their own selfish agendas. And so these extraterrestrials, they are highly advanced. They can read your thought. They can read your heart. So if you coming in there with a selfish agenda, hey, how can I get my program going separate from them? You're not going to get any traction. But we're going to prepare you. Hey, man, so go ahead. You tell us about your light beings.
Well, can I implement with
Absolutely.
that the mental telepathy? There is a program in England, the UK, that they are teaching people how to master mental telepathy. And they also got what they call remote viewing, how they're teaching them how to get into a mental state where they could see things on the other side of the planet, what's actually happening at that time. And they're going all around the world testing this system. And what I've seen so far, I believe it 100% because I know what we are as a human being. Being we're all God's children, we haven't even gotten to the tip of the iceberg of the knowledge that we possess. And it just takes, sharing and working with, human beings to get to that advanced state where mental apathy will come to pass, where it'll be just a normal thing, and that'll eliminate all of the murders, the child abuse, the child abductions. You won't be able to do it because people will be on that higher level. It's happening.
Absolutely. All right.
All right. Yeah, before we started the show, me and Dad were going, having a brief conversation about the nature of what we consider ETs, especially. Let's just take a look at the word extraterrestrial, meaning less necessarily outside of the confines of this terrestrial planet. And one thing I want us to kind of elaborate on this show, not from a quote unquote racist perspective, but just a realist perspective. When we think about the concept of ETs in general, what narrative have we been fed and by what media sources over the years when it comes to the image, the narration, the description of any quote unquote supernatural and metaphysical or extraterrestrial entities? In most cases, let me ask you two, y'all the elders here. Was Buck Rogers one of the first depictions of, let's say, intergalactic space travel or anything ET related?
I could relate to that. Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon, but there were programs before them. These are just the ones that they allow us to gander, see, and think about. Sometimes they don't want you to think about certain things because then you become like-minded and advance further. So yeah, there were precursors before. You go back to when Columbus came to America. In his logs, he said that something came out of the water with lights on. Back then, what came out of the water with lights on and would go up into the sky. So, there are a lot of things, but that's how do we get here? We were brought to planet Earth. That's why they're out there watching us because our kinship, you know. It's a whole lot that we don't know, but there's a whole lot that we do know. And it's all good to know. When you don't know, there's nothing you can do about it. But when you know, you could do something about it.
Indeed, indeed.
Well, wait a minute. Hey, Chairman, there
Yes.
was one, and I can't, I had to be old enough to go across town to go to the theater. But there was one particular movie that burned a strong impression in my subconscious. And of course, all the astronauts were Caucasian, But
Yeah, well,
yeah, but I don't think this was Flash Gordon or
Buck Rogers.
Rogers. I don't, it was a early version depicting these guys that went into, or they came to Earth. But here's the part that I remember: there was a light being source, and it was a chimpanzee on the set, and he walked into this light and vanished. And I can't. I have searched and searched for that movie, because there was a subliminal message explaining the manipulation of the species on this planet and how they prepared them for taking on human form and elevated to a high frequency. But I don't think it was Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon. This was an independent film, and I've searched. I cannot find it. But I remember the fear that I felt as a child of that experience of those particular astronauts that were being shadowed by an advanced civilization. But I remember that I had to share that. But go ahead, man.
All right. Well, again, getting back to the perspectives of different. Well, let's say our Aboriginal, our ancient Aboriginal perspectives from around the world. Here's an interesting analogy. So let's say the concept of dinosaurs, right? When our Aboriginal ancestors were describing dinosaurs, they usually look very elaborate reptilian slash birds or dragons, if you will, and had feathers and such. And then later on, the whole dinosaur concept, the Jurassic Park concept, came out with a certain description of dinosaurs, and they look more so like, let's say, lizards or crocodiles that we see today, right? And then you know what the new description of dinosaurs is now? All of them look like big birds and chickens with feathers. Very, very similar to how our ancestors described. And my point of saying that is to say this: when we think about the extraterrestrial concept, I want I would strongly recommend that we take a look at what some of our Aboriginal cultures from old were describing, and and get it out of our mind that they were too primitive to be able to describe what they were looking at. That the truth told is, when it comes to depictions of whatever, our ancestors were pretty good at descriptions. So with that being said, so if we think about the ET concept and we think about the modern narrative versus the older one, I think we need to take a look at whose description of ETs and the communication and the quote unquote technology of ETs really is. So, and you asked me earlier that do I believe ETs are more so light beings than anything else? Well, this is my idea on it. What greater technology? I mean, which one is better technology? The ability to travel instantaneously on light, or to travel in a physical vessel, right? We really think about it. You're thinking about an advanced being, and then you think about modern science. I mean, truth told is, it takes, if we take a look at modern physics and space travel, the nearest star is very, very, very far away, very far away. Would it behoove some really advanced beings, right? And mind, we're trying to put we're trying to put advanced existence into perspective from our limited perspective, right? In our mind, you know, we think space travel means getting on a spaceship and traveling to traveling like we're driving down the street or something. But when we really, I think we really need to look at the interdimensional capabilities of an advanced being and their multifaceted way of traveling, communicating, existing, reincarnating, and all of the such. So my point of saying all that is to say this. As we, you know, think about conducting even potentially a CE5 or anything similar, probably need to expand our mind on what we may encounter, right, or what we may expect. So in other words, if we're expecting a ship to come out of the sky and that doesn't necessarily happen, I don't want us to be disappointed, right? We may experience something that's considered supernatural that may have been outside of our scope of perception. So that was my gist on it. So when you say light beings, and like even you, Dad, you had your experience when I was a child, as far as how some of these advanced beings actually reached out to you. Did they have any spaceships?
Nope. They came straight through the light and brought me into the light.
How they communicate with you?
Telepathically.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, go ahead.
Well, that's it.
No, so I do believe this. When I had my experience in February of 1990, these beings they had to be the most advanced beings. That's why I tell that story over and over again, and I try to convey to the humans that I'm speaking to that we can access that power. They demonstrated, when you're ready, we'll give you a little taste of this again. And so there are different levels of extraterrestrial evolution. So I know and I believe that this universe is connected just like the nervous system and the brain. There are wormholes that advanced beings have mapped, and they know how to travel through them. They know how to activate them and travel from one part of the universe to the other. But there are light beings that are not on the physical plane any longer, but they're still conscious, and they understand how to travel through the various portals or the various dimensions and reappear. And that's what I experienced, you know, in my human form. I experienced those beings that travel through the different dimensions, and they contacted me, and they left a lasting impression that how powerful they are. If they can just take me up out of my human body and into the light and examine me without saying anything, you know, and I was the one that recognized that, you know, my mission wasn't complete and that I had to, you know, stay here. And I thought it was for the sake of my son, but it was for the sake of humanity. And that's why I'm still here. I still tell that story, and it empowers me every time I speak it.
There is a concept in what they call quantum physics today. It's called quantum entanglement. And basically what that is a vibration, let's say a small vibrational wave here on this planet. If it resonates or matches a vibration a billion light years away, the vibrations match and resonate at the same time instantaneously. So in other words, you know, when we think about the quote unquote distance of space, and we really think about when we think about the Most High designing this whole universal construct, and you really think the Most High be like, you know what, I'm gonna make it to where y'all can't get to one another because I'm gonna make so much space in between y'all, because y'all ain't gonna never be able to see one another. But when reality is, the actual reality is, No, if a certain vibration is happening here on this planet and is resonating across the universe, doesn't matter. The communication link can be made instantaneously. So imagine any advanced being, mind you. Now, I'm pretty smart for a human, right? I'm pretty smart for a human, understanding that concept, right? Understanding that concept and what kind of technology that is. Imagine what kind of understanding of that concept an advanced being would have, and how they would utilize it and expand upon the concept, as they evolve.
Okay. So, well, let's deal with, there is a formula they must practice. All right. So to eliminate this fear of when I say ETs, they have projected themselves and or have been labeled as demons in the paranormal. There are different things that will happen or manifest itself, and typically humans are like, oh, I'm scared to death. So what one of the mandates once again of the Most High advanced ETs is we talked about this. I'm sure they must show you part of the truth, even in their demonic, demented state of mind. And so they show it to you. But it's up to you as an individual to overcome the brainwashing. So what? So when I wrote in, there is a formula that we must practice to start preparing ourselves to make contact with these beings so that they will give us access to this power to chase these demon seeds off this planet. First and foremost, the demons or the ETs that came to this planet, they were allowed to put these religious constructs on. And so they have you praying to an artificial entity that they created. So every time you pray to that entity, you're giving them power over you. So what we want to do, especially the Aboriginal melanated humans on this planet, is stop praying to these imaginary gods. Now, a lot of you are going to be upset about this. I don't care. I told you once before that through the Council of Nicaea, they created the image of a Caucasian man and the name Jesus Christ for you to pray to. And so every time you pray to that image, you get on the stage and you say, first and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. A lot of these white supremacists say, wow, we still got it. You're praying to a false image that was created by them because they were instructed to do that from the low frequency extraterrestrials to give one culture power over many other cultures. And they forced it on you. They murdered your ancestors. They lied, they cheated, and stole, and by any means necessary to create these false images in order to subdue you mentally, spiritually, and physically to take over your land. Now, I'm going to segue into the topic of the science, but still. So ask the question, Brother Andre. So what is this we need to practice? So here's what you understand. I had a brother that I've known for a long time, and he still preaches the church, and he attended one of our affairs, and he shifted from saying Jesus Christ to saying Yahshua. Because once again, the logic is the letter J was introduced to the alphabet 500 years ago, and Yahshua appeared 2,000 years ago. And the image that they created was Jesus Christ. It was an entity, a Christ being that appeared on the planet 2,000. So the math don't add up. We've talked about that, and we're going to talk about it over and over again, because we must know it is imperative that we send energy to a proper source. I think anytime I get an ego or think I'm so magnificent, I have a disclaimer. All praises to the guardians of the Most High, from which I get my health and strength. I'm not going to pray to no Jesus Christ or no gray beard Caucasian man in the sky. I'm not going to do that. But I do know that there are beings on many different levels, all the way to the non-physical form, that are pure light. And so I bypass all the religious constructs, and I send my energy to the true supreme being, those guardians, and they don't want you to pray to them. They don't want you to idolize them. They want you to demonstrate your sincerity in how you treat people and how you operate every day of your life. And that's what you have to start practicing. All this drama that they're creating in this rap game, or these movies that they allow with black folks to participate in, backstabbing, cheating with their husbands, all of these things, all of these constructs of diversion to take away your true spiritual power and give it to another medium, another source. So if we're gonna take over this planet and implement a paradigm shift and create a utopia, you're not gonna do it with the entertainment industry, the professional athletes, who've been contaminated by the gambling czars. They control the narrative, with these sports to get you to put your money up and bet on them. And lose, because they control the computers, and they see if you betting and money is coming in this direction, they'll call up the field and say, hey, you need to start dropping balls. All of these false realities, all of these false illusions are a distraction from you reclaiming this planet and writing a new narrative of equality, balance, and unconditional love for fellow humans. Hey, so what so in your meditation, let's just say I give all honor and respect to the powers of the Most High. Start practicing in that. But anytime you start calling names, constructs, religious constructs, you diverting your spiritual power and you giving it to some people you don't even know. You're giving that power to, you're giving it to an entity that known as Lucifer, and that gives him more power over you. So you got to start understanding, you got to clear your heart out. When Brenda's on the show, she talks about your heart has to be light as a feather. That's how you got to start preparing your mind. So stop envying. And with our women, stop fighting among each other and envying, because once you correct your heart, the beauty of it comes out through your skin, and you ain't got to dress up with all of these eyelashes on, all that makeup. You ain't got to show your booty all on Facebook, twerking and all of that. When you evolve spiritually and have the self-esteem, the spiritual self-esteem that the universe is in me, and I can control the narrative and not give it to these weak artificial intelligence, biological humans that are on this planet to do one thing. That's to deceive me. Chairman, you got to expand on that before we segue.
Well, one thing when you mentioned about, pigmentation and the different images of Jesus, if you look at Putin over there in Russia, he's got a picture of the Black Madonna holding the baby Jesus, and they're black. And he also have a picture of Jesus being black. He's got this picture that was drawn up. It could have been Leonardo da Vinci that drew it, but a magnificent picture. So he's letting you know that, it's not really about the pigmentation. It's about the spirit, and you can't see a color in spirit. Spirit is a movement that you can't see, but it's moving, and it's within all of us. That's why we know that there's got to be something greater than us, because we acknowledge that there's something created it all. We can't put a name on it, but it's just something that happened. And we're here to experience this creator's creation. And we are like that creator because we are very creative. And we can be even more creative if we make things fair, but it's not fair because the person that makes the money, he controls the game. You know, he can make as much money as he wants and give so much out, but he's going to definitely keep so much for himself. You know, and you see that in the United States government, they got trillions of dollars missing, and the Pentagon can't even give an explanation for it. But the whole race is for space. You know it's going to cost money to get out there. So whoever got enough money can buy that space vehicle and live out there in his space colony. And if something's going to happen to Earth, all he's got to do is move to this side, let it happen. When things cool down, then he'll come back and continue his life. So if you ain't got no money, you're doomed on this planet if something happens that's going to be cataclysmic. You know, but we also got to recognize that our extraterrestrial brothers and cousins that brought us here a long time ago, they have the technology that they can evacuate little small planet Earth and all the 8 billion people on it and take them out of harm's way. And Earth is a very small planet because if you know anything about the universe, just think of Jupiter. And Jupiter is small compared to some planets that are in other solar systems and galaxies that are here. So we don't really have anything to fear. We just got to come together, respect each other, and be creative because it's in us to do all these great things, but we just let a small few people confuse us to try to control us so they can manipulate the money and use money as a tool to manipulate and get you to do what they want to do, sell your child for the money. But in a higher level of existence, money will be eliminated. Mental telepathy will be a real thing. People are not going to go around and call you something out of your name because you know, but they won't be that low life that even indulge in something of that nature. So we got a lot of good things to look forward to. We just got to get past this stupidity that we're going through right now. I'll land that plane.
Absolutely. So as we segue into the science behind one culture, robbing, murdering, deceiving, I hope everybody got the piece of, you got to get this drama, this backstabbing, melanated people. You got to stop all that. You know, if you keep doing that and you die, you're going to reincarnate into, hopefully, you know, you don't go to the animal realm, into these artificial intelligent AI biological body. Those are Caucasians. And understand this. Every one of those Caucasian bodies, the souls that are in those bodies, they were melanated in the previous life. And they did something to lose their privilege. We're going to keep hammering this in you over and over again. We have some melanated people. I got some right now I'm working with, trying to help them. They're so far going so deep into this rabbit hole of being caught up into this capitalistic system. They don't understand that they're losing their privilege of having a melanated body. You need a melanated body to live on the surface and protect you from the sun. You know, you need it
to resonate with the sun.
To resonate, yeah, because you're getting downloads. You get your pineal gland is a marvelous piece of equipment, and if it's calcified, it can't produce. You got the copy still cheap. But go ahead and play that video.
Hey, which one?
The one with the. Oh, so let me set this one up. This one is talking about when the Caucasians came over to the Americas, and these Mongoloid Native Americans. Now, mind you, they came long after the Black Aboriginals were here in the Americas, and they will some of them know that they did some low down things to the Black Aboriginal people when they migrated from the Asiatic core. We'll go ahead and play that one.
What's this? This is a fort.
A fort?
Yeah, you know, it's for protection. It's to keep people out.
Yeah, help to feel safe.
Yeah.
From who?
You know, just people.
People? What people? Bad people.
Yeah.
So, can we come in?
No.
No? Why not?
Well, you know, we just moved in and, whoo, it's messy back here.
we got some tidying to do back there.
Sure do. Then we'll probably have a housewarming, so, bye.
Yep, see ya. Okay, well, we'll just wait for an invitation then. Maybe we'll bring a housewarming gift. I'll give them a housewarming gift. Dude, I was talking about a plant or something. Where did this come from? The hell?
Okay. All right.
I'll give him a housewarming gift.
So, all right. So understand this to my Caucasian brothers who were formerly melanated people, and you got hoodwinked, bamboozled, and so you reincarnated into these bodies. These are AI, artificial intelligence, biological bodies. You know, and so you were created.
Everything that people are saying about white women.
So you were created out somewhere near the Caucasus Mountains. Some black scientists, you know, flipped the script. Some of them was influenced by the Luciferian agenda, but these bodies were created. And every day in my mind, I don't hate Caucasian people. I don't want to hurt them because I don't want to lose my privilege. I'm on the borderline. You know, so I'm working on getting me a heavily melanated body in the next life if I have to come back to the physical plane. So I don't want to lose this privilege. So you lose the privilege by hating on Caucasian people and trying to get retribution through killing them, murdering them. That's not the way. So when melanated people come together and start to concentrate, that there is a virus that's going to manifest on Earth that's going to eliminate those bodies so we can get back to our aboriginal bodies, the ones that were designed for you to live on Earth. And so Caucasian people, you know, I strongly advise you to start working on regaining that privilege again. Stop going for the okie-doke, for feeling entitled that, you know, that this is your planet, it ain't your planet. And we got a video, we're going to demonstrate what percentage of you of those bodies. So we want to stop those bodies from recreating, because it's just creating more of those, that mindset that we got to separate, dominate, and control, because we're not on the same level playing field. So we want to stop the reproduction of those bodies, and a lot of the Caucasian women instinctively know that, and they're starting to mate with black men, but they're doing it for the wrong reason. Some of them understand that they know that they want to survive, but you know, that thing has some serious psychology going on in that. So the science of those bodies being created and coming out of the Caucasus Mountains, they didn't have any land designated to them. You know, they came out of the mountains, and the hybrid that they were crossbreeded with lived beneath the surface. So coming to the surface, that's why they keep invading different countries, starting wars to claim their land, because they have no title to any land. They have to fool you into conveying your property and your deeds over to them, because they have no claim to any of the land on the surface. There are new species that were created, those bodies were created 6,000 years ago. And humans been on this planet for at least 1 million years, going through the various adjustments. So, you know, it's important that we understand these things. A lot of black folks want to start buying bullets and arrows and things and start killing Caucasian people. You're gonna lose your privilege. You don't have to worry. The Most High is creating a virus, just like some of these Caucasian and melanated people who have lost their way went in a laboratory to create a virus to wipe out all the Earth population, so that these AI bodies can live in peace. It goes all the way back to the Willie Lynch letter. The Willie Lynch letter said, if you want to be able to sleep at night, you got to divide these melanated people up. You got to turn the old against the young, the men against the women, the house slaves against the field slaves. This has been going on for a long time. So that's the science behind this, is that we have to recognize we're being manipulated. And just like I said, I'm not as light and supernatural on the physical plane as I would have been, because I played football and I had to work extra hard to compete with some brothers that had natural ability. I had to really work, to be able to run side by side. And even with all my work, still, some brothers, I got it down to a 4.40, but some brothers can run a 3.940 naturally. I want one of those bodies again. So I'm encouraging you Caucasian people, get off this tip that you dominate. You ain't dominating jack. You're getting ready to be eliminated. But you can make this a smooth transition from these Caucasian bodies, moving and reincarnating into melanated bodies, but it's how you handle the last part of your life in this lifetime. Help some Black folks out. Come donate to our tribe. Go to the governments and let them know that if you mess with UAAR or any other Aboriginal tribal groups, there are going to be consequences. Spy on them. Go and earn your right to get a beautiful melanated body in the next lifetime. So, all right. So that's the science. You've been in real estate. What's been going on in your real estate development movements and the difficulties you had?
You mean in reference to what? So, right now it's still the same monopoly game. Right now it's still the same monopoly game. But this is what I'm suggesting to all Aboriginal people on the planet, though. First and foremost, realize that it's just that it's a monopoly game. So in other words, you've got select groups of people who have convinced you to play a game, and they have convinced you that within the game they are the administrators of how much property is going to cost, and you're going to use their money to purchase it as well. Just remember that part first. you're gonna purchase their money to use in order to buy property that they have deemed as a certain value based on their currency. Don't ever forget that. That's extremely important. Just realize that it is a game. But again, yeah, to answer your question, it's still the same monopoly game. Now, with that being said, here's how else we should be thinking about it. With the reclamation of our land movement, we're going to completely scrap that concept. We're not going, unless it's beneficial for the environment, unless it's beneficial for the later generations of children, the appraisal concept, the acquisition concept, the banking institutions that got control of the real estate game, get prepared to either curate your own system for that or disassociate yourself with the current real estate type of system. So let me give you an intangible example. So as United Aboriginal American Republic, we've got the ability to acquire land however necessary. When I say necessary, I mean by scrupulous means, not unscrupulous means. But we have the ability to bring it into our jurisdiction and under our governance. Thus, we determine what the land is worth at that point. So we have to curate a whole system for that. Now, what we also have the ability to do is still play the game within the United States, commercial system. So in other words, as a Aboriginal, where I can go off to my own land where I don't pay no taxes, the code and ordinance system we set up ourselves for it, the sustainable infrastructure we installed for it, I can go off to my land and be chilling, not paying no light bill, not paying no water bill, not paying no mortgage, not paying no taxes, not worrying about no eminent domain. But what I can still do if I wanted to is participate in the United States commercial system. In other words, owning real estate and charging people to either build and or purchase anything that I build and any land that I purchase. I can play that game if I want to. We could play that game if we want to. But to what, for what means is the question. Do we want to do it to get rich, just to hoard a lot of dollar bills with dead Caucasian man face on it? Is that what it's about? Well, I understand that you want to do that in the interim. My plan is until that money is completely worthless, which that's coming. We convert that cash, we convert that money, convert whatever that is, whatever those resources are, into something harmonious, beneficial for us and the future generations of the Aboriginals. That's all that's left for the real estate game. I'll end that plane right there.
So let's play that last video because the whole purpose of this show, this particular show, is to underpin the spiritual self-esteem of melanated people, to understand that you are designed to operate on the surface, and the Most High allowed these AI bodies, these Caucasian bodies, to be created to test you, because everything that those bodies had to do to get in control of you, it had to be damage had to cause damage to the planet, contaminating of the water, the soil, the atmosphere. All of that is because of capitalism, greed, and the desire, the need to dominate one culture, because you're not physically adequate to compete with the other culture on a level playing field. And the Luciferian agenda knew this, and that's why it helped create these systems to put you in charge. But your God, your master, is Lucifer. In all the churches, in all the divisive fraternities, sororities, skin complex, all of that was created by Lucifer. And it's up to the melanated people, and especially you chosen ones, your benevolent heart ones, to come together now and implement this paradigm shift for the shift. Go ahead and play that video.
Population, what percentage is white? There are people who said 60, 80. Somebody even said 90. Do you know what the real answer is? It's 7%. 7%. That means they don't even have the numbers to keep up white supremacy. What that means is either we're letting them keep it up, or we're actively helping them keep it up, because they don't have the manpower to do it by themselves.
Oh, we're going to definitely have to plan some things out for 2025, which means we're going to need some stationery from a Black-owned business. So tap through this table.
Chairman, what do you think about that statement?
Well, she said a fact as far as percentage-wise. We've always been the majority, but we're here to live in harmony with each other. If it was just 1%, we're not here to annihilate and destroy. We're here to help, like helping each other, helping all other nationalities and creatures on this planet. That's our main purpose for being here, and to have fun on this journey that we're on in this dimension. And everything that we do is sketched in stone. You cannot change it. The things that you've done in the past, if they were wrong, they were wrong, and they ain't going to be right because it was wrong. You just got to make sure what you do in the future is right and righteous. And then you don't have anything to worry about. No one has anything to worry about. There's more than enough on planet Earth for everybody. Everybody. Like I said once before on one of the programs, you can take all 8 billion people on planet in the state of Texas, and everybody would have a house. So can you imagine all the other areas of this planet that is habitable? I land that plane.
All right. Hey, Julian, what are your thoughts about that statement?
I agree with Chairman. It's like this. What I've noticed and happen to be very observant about this is, the state of mind of, let's say, the most willing and able-bodied Caucasians, which is my generation and the ones up under. For the most part, what I realize about them, is observing them and engaging their hearts. For the most part, they don't subscribe to some of their parents and ancestors' ideologies. But what I do see is, or what I do observe is their susceptibility to the new AI technological paradigm that is coming. Right. But what you've done throughout this whole show is lay out the solution to that. So as far as them, earning harmonious bodies. So I don't think there's anything to worry about, quite frankly. Because here's my thing. I don't, every venture I partake in, I'm not worried about anybody being able to stop me, let alone somebody Caucasian. So with that being said, I think we may have to make, honestly, people can feel how they feel about what I'm about to say. We may have to make some accommodations for them in the future, especially if that phenotype starts becoming, extinct, right? I think we're also honestly going to have to make some accommodations for them, because what I do see is a mass awakening on the planet of my generation and below, regardless of the skin tone right now, in general. So I think it's going to be interesting, either way. But as far as I'm concerned, it's all good in the hood. When it comes to our people, like you said, I'm more so concerned about our people detoxing from all of the parasitic ideologies and paradigms that that we are believing. I'm not gonna separate myself. That say that we are believing, collectively, so we can vibrate higher in the sand and be the stewards of this planet the way we're designed to be. Right. Again, that's just what I mentioned earlier. Once we get past the issue of divisions of race, or let's say within the Aboriginal collective, our own divisions among one another, and like you said earlier, they're competing among one another for just petty reasons. We still have another challenge right after that, and that is conditioning ourselves, educating ourselves into being harmonious with the environment of this planet. In other words, being healthy cells within the body. That's going to be our next challenge. I think it's honestly, I think it's a doable challenge, but the question is, how many of even Aboriginal people are going to be willing and able? All right, but that's why I land that plane. I think it's going to be all good, though. I think we're going to rise to the occasion. And
well, one of the things that I like to convey, and as we close, when I went into the light, it opened me up and it reprogrammed my spiritual composition. And when I purify myself, I'm not perfect. I like things, some of the pleasures of earth, have fun, but I know when I need to clean up and go through a spiritual purification. All of the answers to the questions and the problems with myself and a lot of other humans will be downloaded into our consciousness, how to solve these problems. But you have to go through that purification process. Just like we're going to prepare those people that are going to be in our CE5 program that's going to make contact. And when we go and meet with and call these most advanced entities in, We're going to let them know we're doing this out of love and respect. We don't want you, we don't need to buy no extra more bullets to have a shootout at the OK Corral. We're going to implement a spiritual power. And if any species on this planet wants to continue this madness of capitalism taking over people's land, we're just going to take over your land and move you out to some other country. And I'm going to call up some other countries and say, can you take these people? We taking their land. You know, that is madness. And all of you that continue to support that kind of madness, you're jeopardizing your incarnation to the, not only to a melanated body or even a Caucasian body, but to an animal body, because that means that you need to go back and be retrofitted spiritually to understand the beauty of balance on the physical plane and the respect for it. But this continuous blowing people up, murdering, raping people out of your selfish, demonic mind, and if you continue to vote for that and support that, now our nation, we got a vote of no confidence. We separate from it because we see it's happening over and over again. So we're separating from it, and we're going to build an aura of security around all the tribal lands that we're going to reclaim. And if you dare to touch it, you will be evaporated. And then your soul will be relegated to a lower form of existence. That's a promise. That's a promise from the Most High. You know, so what I want to say to you melanated people, stop fearing what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and what happened in Rosewood and that town in Texas, and 50 other small cities that were flooded or destroyed because a punk ass Pope told you you can go do this because God spoke to me and told us to go and murder everybody that don't convert to our religious construct. You got to change. And so you Caucasian men, you're the primary benefactors of white supremacy. Hey guys, you need to change your ways. You keep up with that agenda, you will be destroyed. That's a promise. And to the Caucasian women, I know a lot of you starting to feel it because you're seeing that those men, their souls are just, you know, paperless. There's no fun being around a man that's continuing to do that. And I know you're looking for a black man now because you're finding love, you're finding a certain compassion. But you Caucasian men, you got to stop this madness. It's either you do it the easy way or the real easy way, or it will be corrected the real easy way. You know, and so black folks walking around with the fear of these demon seeds and these low frequency, they get this technology from some extraterrestrials. Even the Willie Lynch letter, how to make a slave out of a species, they got that. There ain't nobody, no Caucasian man thought of that. He got it from that technology. You can use that same formula anywhere in the universe with pink, gray, orange, blue people, whatever. You can manipulate skin color or the pigmentation to enslave a species. We're not going for it anymore. We are awake, and that bullshit game is done. Hey, I think we covered everything. Go get you a copy of lucifersrevenge.net. It's a playbook on how we're going to make this transition. And once again, man, before the chairman talks about how to find his book, how can they send us a message to join up with us?
Go to our email, uaarlife@gmail.com. uarlife@gmail.com. Again, uaarlife@gmail.com.
All right. Hey, Chairman, how they can find your book?
You can find my book at Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and you can also go to my website, www.godschildren.biz, and I can get it to you, an autographed copy. But help support something that's going to help support us as a human race, because my book was created to bring us together. One nation, one planet, one universe.
Hey, so that's it. We were wrapping up the Straight Talk Morning Show. Once again, all of you chosen ones, you know who you are. You know you've been different since you were a child. That means you're a chosen one. You remember when other little kids wanted to hurt animals and all that, you was like, no, don't do that. You're a chosen one. You're a benevolent soul. You need to get with us. And we're going to help prepare you to make contact so that we can usher in this paradigm shift, because it's going to happen. It's this white supremacy bullshit, and these fools is doing all these horrible things. That's over. We are awakened, and we have enough people to implement this. But you chosen ones, if you turn away from your responsibility by the Most High, they have protected you and provided you with a safe life on this planet, and you turn away from them, you will regret it in the next life. So get with us. Let's start working on this program of the CE5, and we'll start moving in the direction of making a difference on this planet. Hey, man, go ahead and close us out.
The Straight Talk Network Show. We love y'all. Peace out. See you next week.
Peace out.